To open mic.
Okay. Well, it gives me great pleasure to invite Synn Lo, who is a poet, songwriter, and a visual artist who's had a new series of paintings for a fall exhibition, which I was happily to attend a beautiful art display. I'd like you all to invite Synn Lo up to do some poems for us. Thank you. Synn Lo.
Good evening. The person I'd like to honor tonight is my grandmother. I must confess I have not been thinking about her for quite a while, as my wife is in the hospital and I'm preoccupied, so I'm kind of out of balance. And last night, thinking about the theme tonight, I took out a photograph and sat with her, and I felt some comfort, and I asked to no one in particular, have I done good? Have I fulfilled the promise you saw in me? So I'll read you a few writing called Family Tales. Family Tale number 1. In the beginning. I was 2 ounces 5 in Chinese esoteric calculation. The fortune teller shook her head. This boy is not destined to stay home. Grandmother took it hard. But he is the firstborn in his generation. There are expectations and responsibilities. Look again. His constitution with nature is winter fire. It does not burn by itself. He needs help from outside the family. Let him find his way in the world. There will be others who will help him. Grandmother pleaded, how long do I have him? The fortune teller answered, 18 and no more. Are you sure? Check again. The story has already been written. You see, my grandmother is the last generation of women from China that have bound feet. She was unbound in her teen years, but she could walk with difficulty. She was homeschooled. Strange enough, she could read, but she could not write. And she always told me that the paralysis in her feet had gone into her hands. So she asked me to keep a ledger for her when the servants come home from the market. So rice, how much? Beef, how much? And I hated it. I just wanted to run and play, and I had to sit down and write in the ledger. So during the war with Japan, all the men had to hide. But the army is coming closer to the city, and grandmother took all the women and the young children on a long walk into the countryside. I had no idea how she managed to walk. But along the way, she met up with a priest, a Jesuit priest, who also was taking a group of children. And they became friends. How to imagine, my grandmother, an educator, and they came up with a vision of an elite high school in Hong Kong, which came into reality, and I ended up going to that high school because of the connection. And right now that high school is very famous. I was told that 30% of the well-known people in Hong Kong came from that high school. Family Tale number 5. You are more valuable to me than you think. I had a glimpse of all that is yet to come. Grandmother kept me from trying out for the basketball team. Her explanation, the fortune teller. My destiny was to be a scholar and not an athlete. I got upset and joined the team in the playground. It was not the same, we had no uniforms. Grandmother threw an I Ching oracle every day. She would consult. She had told me that on the long march to the countryside, There were many times they had to choose to go left or to go right, and she cast the oracle and followed it. And every time it turned out to be right. Family tale number 6. I need more than ever to find the thread that holds everything together. One Sunday, I wanted to go on a picnic with my class. Grandmother cast an I Ching oracle. It was not favorable. She forbade me to go out of the house that day. I was mad. The next day, I returned from school and complained to her. Everyone went and had a good time except me. There were no disasters. She simply said, because you did not go. The last one. Family tale number 8. What we are like no one else, joined together in the most abundant way. Grandfather lived with us partially. He had 3 wives. 2 lived under the same roof. Grandmother 3 was somewhere out there in the city. She got him for the weekends. She seldom set foot in our house and was not mentioned in our family except during major festivals. Pillow politics ruled our household. Grandmother 2 was sick most of the time, suffering from neglect beyond repair. My grandmother was his first wife. She held the family together. When grandfather took ill, my grandmother joined with grandmother 3 to look after him. I believe they actually became friends, from adversaries to allies. Forgiveness was made through action and not words, something I must remember.
I don't dare give you a rose that will fit those flowers. So sorry about your wife, I didn't know.